Okay, so I'm the son of a self-employed builder. My dad runs a small construction company here in the UK, and they did a great job getting me into the best school that they could through my childhood. Getting me into the best school that they could meant that I was probably the poorest kid at that school. So what happened was I wanted the sneakers and the bag and the coats and the things that other cool kids had. And I did the normal thing that anybody would do at that age. I went and asked my dad for the money for those things. And the first answer I got was no. And I asked again, and the answer I got was no. And I asked again a few weeks after that, the answer I got was no. But my dad said, you can come to work with me. And I said, okay, I come to work with you. What will you pay me? My dad said, I'll pay you what you're worth. I thought that's an interesting concept. It didn't really make much sense to me. What then happened is my best friend, a guy called Paul at the time, was traveling to the US. The sneakers that I wanted, what we call trainers, were $80. They were £80 here. Time currency exchange was about, 1 for 2. So these were half price, in effect, that my buddy could get me these sneakers in the US. So I said to my dad, can I have the money? He said, well, we'll see what you're worth when you come work for me. I said, well, how does that work? He says, meet me at 6 a.m. in the morning downstairs. We'll get in the van and we'll go to the job. Now, I said my dad runs a small construction company. So we drove out to this job in the east of London. He's on a small terrace, like row house in London. He's ripped the roof off and the roof is in the backyard. Slates, timbers, nails, loads of junk. My job was to clear up all of that mess. Now, we had then a skip in the corner of that backyard, and a skip is what you might call a dumpster. Dad says to me, well, you need to get the contents of the yard into the skip. And I look at the size of the rubble. There's more rubble than there is hole in the skip. I said, Dad, if I fill the skip, how much will you pay me? He said, I'll pay you £20. So I'm looking at the hole and I'm thinking, well, I could fill it once, then what? He said, well, then I'll replace the skip. I'll get old to come and pick it up. We'll go again. I thought, cool, okay. So what I did is I filled the skip twice. I've got my £40. I can get the sneakers that I want. Happy days. Yet the trouble was I finished that work at 2 p.m. My dad was still up on work on the roof doing clever stuff. I said, Dad, what do I do now? He said, well, I don't know, son. What do you think? I said, well, why don't I knock on the door of the homeowner, see if there's any other jobs I could do, which is what I did. And the homeowner sent me down to his basement to go clear out some trash and tidy up and move some boxes around. And I just got to work and did it. End of the day's work, the homeowner gave me a brown envelope. I opened that brown envelope in the van on the way home, and there was £45 in it. I thought, happy days, I've been given a tip, more than what I was promised. This is good news. I got home, took a shower, came downstairs to get dinner with Mum and Dad. My dad gave me the £40 he promised me. The 45 was a payment from the homeowner. The 40 was the payment from my dad. I gave the £40 to Paul to go get my sneakers. I had the £45 left over. I walked into a hardware store, bought a bucket, a sponge, a chamois leather, some car shampoo, and thought this knocking on doors thing might be able to work. So carried on doing the same thing from there, realizing that if I wanted to change my life, it was in my control, not the responsibility of my parents. And by the age of 15, I had a dozen kids in the year below. We were making around £6,000 a month with a small car cleaning business at years of age. So what's that, $8,500?